Let's get our lye solution. Pour that in, being very, very careful. And I am gonna go put this in a very safe place, out of the way from everything. And I'm gonna be dousing it in water pretty quickly here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna take my good spatula. Oh Lord, lots of vehicles passing by my garage today. I like to use the method where I have the lye melt my butters. I used to do the whole microwave, melt everything, match the temperature, be within 10 degrees, but that was just a mess. So, like I said, or like I was saying, I like to use my lye to melt my butters naturally. It also creates a much lower soap temperature. So if you have a fragrance oil that accelerates it, you're already starting off in a better advantage with that. And then I don't have to use a microwave, because I just don't like using microwaves and using that technology to melt my butters. So that's the shea butter that's taking so long, but let's check the temperature of the batter just to see where we're at, what we're working with. We're at 122, which is a great spot to be at. That's definitely gonna be hot enough to melt the butters, but not start anything too serious with the soak process. This fragrance oil is going to be Pinkest Coconut Calypso, which definitely makes me think of Pirates of the Caribbean. Calypso. Once again, I think I looked up if it accelerated it or not. I believe it said it did not, but you know, stuff happens. And sometimes fragrance oils just do things that they did not do in the lab. So we're almost there. I'm gonna help get my spatula to break up some of those large bits of the shea butter. And with the Pinkest Calypso Coconut, I think it was, we're gonna be doing white, yellow, pink, orange. And my yellow mica that I have, it's going to be kind of a trickster. So this is Crafter's Choice Summer Yellow Daisy Mica Powder. It looks very yellow, right? So when we pour this soap, it's going to completely, or I'm sorry, when we mix it up with the batter, it's going to look orange. And only until after the soap starts curing is it going to turn yellow. So it's about believing before seeing. You believe that it's yellow. You're doing your design with the idea that it's yellow, even though it doesn't look yellow. So, but I'll have to show y'all sometime. I did a watermelon lemonade soap, and so I had yellow in with like the traditional watermelon colors. And whenever I poured it, I'm like, oh man, this is looking extremely orange. And so I went to the forums for that mica color and saw other soapers say, relax, fear not, it will turn the color that it's supposed to be during the curing process. And it did. It did. It was such a delight to wake up to the next morning to see it yellow. Okay, so once you have little bits like this, little tiny baby bits, you're actually pretty much good to start using the stick blender, because that'll break up pretty quickly into the soap batter and it's not going to affect it too much. And I've got a blend of shea butter, avocado, I've got some canola because I really like what canola does for the skin, coconut, palm, all the good stuff is in here in this soap. So we're going to have a really nice hard bar that's got a really good lather to it. and also the bar will set up pretty well and release from the mold pretty well as well. I found that palm oil really is the star to get your soap to release from the mold. Okay, I'm gonna take this to go pulsate it to get to a light trace, and I'll bring it right back. Okay, I'm back. I got it to my favorite form of trace, which is lightest trace as possible. See, pulling the spatula up, running it across the top. It's not even showing you where the trail was, okay? Which, once again, I like to have it at light trace because I just like to have more control over how quick the soap moves, especially when we're dealing with a fragrance oil that I have no idea how it's gonna go. And the plan is to do all of my colors and then put them back into the pot, do somewhat maybe of a pot swirl depending upon how we're moving, and then get it into my mold. So right now, let's go ahead and start pouring our colors. So we've got this real pretty rose pink color. Real pretty color. Don't let soap batter scare you. The scary part's over. That was the lye. You should always be cautious with lye, but with soap batter, you have a little bit more forgiveness. Okay. I've had soap batter on my hands before, and it definitely kind of zinged it, but it wasn't anything that, like, you know, lye would have done. Eating through my skin type here. Okay, and I'm gonna pour my last color, which is white, which is titanium dioxide. And since it's almost to that level, I'm gonna go ahead and top off orange a bit more. I'm gonna give it a bit more pink. And I'm gonna give it a bit more yellow, which is gonna look orange and make me crazy a little bit, but I'm gonna have to remember to trust the process. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is do a real good scrape of my bucket, because I'm gonna put all my colors back into this bucket, and I don't want there to be too much just basic bland color soap in there. Okay, pretty happy with that. Set my spatula to the side. I'm gonna get my mini stick blender to start blending up the colors. I have not put any form of fragrance oil in the soap yet. Like, try and get as many other things done with the soap before you do that, because especially if you are not 100% about what that fragrance oil is going to do. So I'm mixing up my whites, getting a little bit of soap batter on my hand. That's why you wear gloves. And this is supposed to be yellow. Look at that, it's supposed to be yellow, but watch it turn to orange. But it's going to do magical things through the curing process. Good things come to those who wait. Can feel the heat coming through the cup. Soap batter is getting activated. That's all good. You want to keep heat. You don't want it too cold. I know it's called cold process, but you want to keep the heat in it. Oh my goodness, that is so orange looking. And then here's our last color, pink. See, pretty. So pretty when it mixes through together. I have not done this technique with soap in a long time. I'm pretty big on just pouring it into the mold as I go. But we're gonna do something different today. Okay. And I'm just running my stick blender in here. I don't really care that colors are getting on the side. A little bit of color is not going to affect the look of the soap. Okay, so now, here here comes the next part. We need to mix the fragrance oils into our soap batter. Let me make sure I got all the mica out. Such a pretty color. Okay, I guess orange is gonna be, look at that, it's already thickened up. Yep, trace on this one and going quick. Let's just go ahead and pour some fragrance. Oh, that smells nice. We're gonna gently mix it in so we don't get this soap thinking that it needs to start doing crazy stuff on us here. Okay. The next color I'm gonna hop to is actually gonna be orange, our actual orange, just because my spatula will favor that color after using the other soap color more, if that makes sense what I just said. What I'm trying to say is stay with the light color until you have to wipe off your spatula. Okay. Gently, 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 while also keeping check on your other colors, which you can already tell it is starting to accelerate. So now we're going to pick up our pace. We're going to dump the rest of the fragrance in pink. Not too worry too much about it. And that way, first pour can be white. And we can just get it going from there. I can feel the heat coming from the cup, so that means the soap is getting activated. All right, here we go. Let's get our bucket back. And we're just gonna go one by one, each color, unless it's gonna get too thick on us. Just gonna pour each color, and I hope you can see it from the camera view that I got. Maybe my cameraman can help me out with that. Yeah, it's getting real thick, so we're gonna move quick. Quick, quick, quick. Oh, look how thick that is. Ha! Guess what? We're all going all in here, guys. We're gonna see what happens. Look at how thick that went on me. How rude. Okay, so we're gonna get that last color in, and then the most important part is to get it into the mold. That's not only accelerating, that's trying to rise on me right now. Okay, ready? Into the mold we go. Some colors are thicker than others. Oh, doesn't that look delightful? Bad soap happens to good people. Why is it like this? So remember, I only put fragrance oil in certain colors other than white. So that's why white is behaving and all the other colors are not. It's gonna be really interesting to see how this turns out. Oh my God, weirdness going on. Dang it, Pink is Calypso. You did me dirty with a clean soap. Darn you. Okay. Okay, as much as we definitely don't want to lose that soap batter in the cups either. And remember what I said too, when you're trying to deal with the soap that's trying to get ugly with you, get it down. All right, let's get our small spatula and just start plopping the soap. Okay, ooh, I can feel the heat, yeah. Specifically this color, look. So we're not gonna let it rise on us. We're just gonna let it get a little volatile, but then it's still gonna turn out cute. Start speaking good affirmations, positive affirmations as your soap pisses you off. Excuse my language. Okay. So there's burnt orange going in with a little bit of that yellow mica. There we go. Okay. See? Plop it down. See, this color's gonna come out yellow. This is our yellow, even though it all looks orange. So not only is it accelerating on me, I can't even like see the true color of what's happening. So this is one of those situations where you're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. the delight of soap making. Sometimes it's just a crap show. But I have a feeling, just like I have seen many other soapers deal with a situation like this, and their soap turns out beautiful. Look at that white on top, because the white has no fragrance oil. It's like, you see what you could be? But no. Okay, so we're gonna need to hit this down again. Smack it down real good. Maybe, just maybe, we'll create a new soap technique. Kidding. Okay. Smack, smack. You know what? I'm going to the concrete floor. This is serious. Smack, smack, smack. Phillips. You want that? Guys, this looks like a pie. This looks like some sort of Thanksgiving pie with something drizzled on top. Well, it doesn't smell like a pie. All right, let's see here. Let's try and get a little bit more out, because we don't want to waste any of this pretty deliciousness. Okay. Even though I think we're done, I think everything is pretty much gone a little too quick. That's all right. All right, I'm gonna get my finger, my thumb. This is my forefinger. And I'm gonna scrape it. Look at how thick. Good Lord. That got aggressive quick. Man. Okay. I'm actually wearing double layered gloves for this sole purpose. Voila! Isn't that nifty? Let's do it again. Not movie magic. Woo! Okay. Yeah, I can't. Oh Lord, the top of this soap. This is why sometimes you need to like make a design on top, because good Lord. Okay. What do we think we want to go with? Let's see. Maybe let's just do twirl, twirl, twirl. Because we've got the white that is nowhere near as aggressive in its curing as the other colors, which, Lord, soapers of the world, cringe with me at my fail here. Yeah, it's just like interesting. I mean, it's pretty, but dang. Could even go like a little bit deeper and make more definition. What do we think? I don't know. Kind of feel like if I make that big of a divot, it's going to be even more obvious of what happened with it. Relax, relax. Something that could help a lot too is putting it in a nice cool room, which is where my soap rack is. But yeah, dang, there's pink Calypso in all of her agonizing honor here. Cannot stress enough. Tap down accelerated soap. All right, let's get a close up. This one had cracking on it too, but look at what happened. Boom! You have to believe without seeing that your color is going to morph the way it is supposed to. Look how pretty that yellow came through. And we've got the orange and our pinky red. So let's cut it and see what happened on the inside of the bar. So pretty. All right. Oop, let me get a paper towel to have set out for my soaps. There we go. Alrighty. First cut. Went through real clean. Look at that. Look at the yellow that actually came through. That yellow's almost like pushing out the orange. Who knew? That yellow is almost pushing out that orange. All right, let's do our next one. Where did my little paper towel go to wipe in between? Here we go. I think this was the Calypso. Yeah, oh, that smells good. Look at how pretty the colors came out. Super pleased. And this one even kind of accelerated on me a little bit. Can see a little bit of titanium dioxide lines, but that is nothing to be particular about. It's just little spots where it didn't mix through with the oil all the way. It's not going to harm anything with the soap. Yeah, that almost looks like fire. So we got the white, orange, pink, and yellow. Super pleased. I like the volcanic ash on top. All three from the same soap loaf. Isn't that cool? Especially this middle one. All the different swirls. I love how that yellow came through. We believed, and it's there. Bye, y'all.